Remember when the White Sox were the laughing stock of baseball? Just 2 years ago, they were setting records for all of the wrong reasons. 121 losses. Fans were boycotting the games. The front office looked lost, and it felt like the franchise had no direction whatsoever. Fast forward to 2026. The White Sox have spent virtually the entire season in first place in the American League Central, and they're beating playoff teams. They're winning series. All of a sudden, our question goes from ridiculous to completely reasonable. Are the Chicago White Sox legit? Let's talk about it. Now, this is a team that's gone from embarrassment to contender. Nobody, even the biggest White Sox fans on the planet, could have expected this. Most preseason predictions had Chicago finishing near the bottom of the American League once again. They weren't supposed to compete this year at all. This was supposed to be another rebuilding season that they were just going to ride along, trade their vets at the deadline, gain more prospects, and we'll see you next year where we can hopefully make a wild card spot. Instead, they become one of the baseball's biggest surprises. I find myself turning their games on every night and rooting for this young group. What's crazy is they haven't done it by outspending anybody. They haven't done it by hitting 300 home runs. They've simply just played better ball than everyone else. And that's something I never thought I would have said about the White Sox. They make a living off of embarrassing themselves, off of looking horrible. They are always the ones that have the outfielders can't see the ball because of the sun. Luis Robert not trying. Effort questions. They show up to the ballpark, quote, ready to lose. If you've watched the White Sox this year, one thing has become obvious. This team doesn't overwhelm their opponents by any means. This isn't some team that's going to knock your socks off every time they're on the field. But they wear you down. They put the ball in play. They run the bases aggressively. They play strong defense. And when they need it, they hit that 3-run home run. One thing the White Sox have never done, get a game to the 7th, 8th, 9th inning. They're finding ways to win. They're coming back on good teams. Their bullpen is protecting their lead. MLB, that's all about chasing launch angle and homers. Chicago's built a team around contact and constant pressure. It's not very flashy. It's incredibly effective. I can't even lie. The pitching's been pretty good. None of this works without decent enough pitching, and that's where the White Sox have completely changed their identity. The starting rotation has consistently kept games close. They've been limiting big innings. They're attacking the strike zone, and perhaps most importantly, they're giving the offense a chance to win every single night. Now, guys like Davis Martin or Anthony Kay or Sean Burke, these aren't guys that are throwing 100 or overpowering anybody. But night after night, they've made good performances, the bullpen's protected their leads, and the offense has done just enough to get them over the line, and they win games. I'm not going to sit here and pretend like they play in an extremely tough division. The AL Central is for the taking. Even them in first place right now, they're not in first place by a ton. The Guardians are right on their heels. The Twins are right on their heels. But you can clearly say this young core has absolutely arrived. Every successful rebuild reaches that point where their prospects can stop being their future stars and they actually become their own good players. Young players are contributing immediately. Chase Mydroth just came up last year. Both of the Montgomerys, Munetaka Murakami might win Rookie of the Year. For Chicago, their moment is happening now. They're not relying on aging veterans. The White Sox have built a roster that's getting better as the season goes on. Anthony Benintendi has been their veteran presence. Miguel Vargas has been there on the Dodgers. Been there, done that. He wasn't a big name for the Dodgers, but he's been in a successful clubhouse and knows how these teams come to work each day and has clearly brought that and his leadership to a super young White Sox team who want to win. I'll tell you what, a hungry young team like this is scary for the rest of the league because young teams don't depreciate over time. You look at teams like the Phillies, every single year they're just getting a little worse because all of their guys are on the wrong side of 30. And all of their guys just take one step back. This White Sox team, they're not going to get any worse next year. If anything, they're going to be better. And you can tell things are different the way they come to work every day. Winning changes your clubhouse, and the clubhouse clearly has a different feel. A couple of years ago, every mistake seemed like it would snowball. They would go down a couple runs, and Luis Robert would end up in national news the next day because of his effort and because he was jogging for a ball in the gap and let somebody get a triple instead of a double. But these guys, They look confident. They come to the ball field expecting to win that day. That was something that the Chicago White Sox have not done in at least 5 years. And you can see the confidence in every big inning, every comeback, and every celebration that they have. They're all coming together, being a collective unit, and going at this with togetherness. And every championship team needs that. These guys clearly love each other. This White Sox team suddenly looks like they might believe they belong in Major League Baseball, which for the average White Sox fan, that hasn't happened in a while. Now, let's not get ahead of ourselves. The Chicago White Sox aren't exactly World Series contenders, but at the same time, I think they could make playoffs. Just because they're in first place in August doesn't automatically mean that they're even going to make playoffs, let alone win a playoff series. And that's not what I'm worried about. But if this young squad can win their division, they're going to get to host their 3-game wild card series in Southside Chicago for all of their fans. And that's big experience for them going into next year. Miguel Vargas is really the only one, and Andrew Benintendi, let me not forget. But those guys came from giant market big teams who know how to win, and they've brought that to this young club who just came up, and they know how to win. I think everybody understands October baseball is different. They're not exactly facing Garrett Crochet or Sonny Gray or Garrett Cole on a daily basis in the regular season like they will be in the playoffs, depending on who they play. Especially inside their own division, I would say Joe Ryan's the best pitcher in the AL Central, and even he doesn't really match up to the big dogs that the American League has to offer. And October is different. Every weakness is going to be exposed, and we'll see if the offense can contend against the good pitching, and we'll see if the bullpen can handle the pressure as these young guys play under these brightest lights for the first time. These questions still need to be answered, but what's changed is I'm not asking, can the White Sox compete anymore? I'm asking, how far can they go? And if you're a fan of a team like the New York Yankees, who are kind of known for choking in the playoffs a little bit, or known for not making it as far as they want to, I gotta tell you, I don't want to play this team. I don't. In a 3-game series, even maybe in a 5-game series. I don't know if they have the pitching to win a 5-game series, but still, even if you're one of the American League favorites, I do not want to see these guys come playoff time because they're playing on house money. They have nothing to lose. They're playing dangerous, and they know how to play good defense. They've been pitching their ass off, and they just don't beat themselves this year like they used to. They're not making the dumb errors, the bonehead plays, and the plays that you see from a team that lacks confidence. At some point, we're going to have to stop calling it a fluke, because all year, everybody's been saying, yeah, they're in first place now, but they're not going to win the division. I got news for you. We got less than 2 months left of the season. We're into August now, and this team has an identity. It's not luck anymore. They continue to beat good teams. With every series looks competitive. Now, will they win the World Series? Absolutely not. But have they gained my respect and the respect of other teams in this league? Absolutely. Nobody's laughing at the White Sox anymore, because whether anyone saw it or not, I think the Chicago White Sox are legit.